There's a place in the Atlantic Ocean where ships disappear without a trace, where airplanes vanish mid-flight, and where compasses spin aimlessly, as if the Earth itself loses its sense of direction. They call it the Bermuda Triangle, and for decades it has captured the world's imagination, a place where logic seems to fail and reason falls silent beneath the waves. The first time most Americans heard the phrase Bermuda Triangle was in the 1950s, but strange disappearances in this region go back much further, even to the age of sail, when wooden ships crossed uncharted waters guided only by the stars. But the mystery didn't fully explode into public consciousness until Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy bombers that vanished without a trace on December 5, 1945. That day began like any other in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The air was crisp, the sky was clear. The young pilots, all experienced airmen, were on a routine training mission. Their orders: fly east toward the Bahamas, practice bombing runs, then turn north and back west to base. Radio logs reveal that everything was going smoothly until something changed. The leader's voice came over the airwaves.
"We can't find west. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean doesn't look right."
One by one, their transmissions grew faint, distorted, then silent. The U.S. Navy launched the largest air-sea search in its history. Hundreds of planes, dozens of ships scouring the waters. They found nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, not even a single life vest. To make things worse, one of the rescue planes also vanished, with 13 men aboard. In total, 27 lives were lost that day, and the mystery began. To some, the Bermuda Triangle became a symbol of the unknown, a place where time, space, and even the laws of nature might bend. But to others, especially scientists and skeptics, it was simply a myth inflated by coincidence and media hype. Still, people kept disappearing. Ships like the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, which vanished in 1963 with 39 crew members. Private planes, luxury yachts, and even small fishing boats, gone without a trace. And though explanations were offered, storms, mechanical failure, human error, the pattern was too strange to ignore. Every time a vessel went missing between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the legend grew. Why here? Why always this same patch of ocean? Some said it was cursed. Others said magnetic anomalies, the Earth's own forces gone haywire. And a few whispered of something even more extraordinary: ancient technology buried deep beneath the waves. Beneath the surface of paradise, something was happening. Something that defied understanding. The Bermuda Triangle is not marked on any official map. You won't find warning buoys or danger signs floating in the Caribbean. Yet, if you draw lines connecting Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan, Puerto Rico, you get an area of ocean covering about 500,000 square miles, an area known for tropical beauty and inexplicable loss. Sailors have whispered about this region for centuries. Even Christopher Columbus, during his voyage in 1492, wrote in his log that his compass behaved strangely near these waters, and that he saw a great flame of fire crashing into the sea one night. To a 15th century sailor, such a sight might have been an omen, a sign from the heavens, or perhaps something darker. Centuries later, similar stories would surface again. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo ship carrying over 300 men, vanished somewhere between Barbados and Baltimore. It was one of the largest ships in the U.S. fleet, and it disappeared without sending a single distress call. President Woodrow Wilson himself called the loss a great mystery. No wreckage was ever found. No SOS, no survivors. Decades later, divers and researchers still search for the Cyclops, but the Atlantic keeps its secrets well, and the pattern continued. Over the years, at least 50 ships and 20 aircraft have reportedly disappeared in the region, often in calm weather, with no distress signals. One of the eeriest details. In many cases, other ships sailing nearby never saw or heard anything unusual. One moment, a vessel was visible on radar, the next, gone. This invisible vanishing act became the core of the Triangle's legend. But what could cause such disappearances? Some scientists have proposed methane gas eruptions from the ocean floor, massive bubbles that could sink ships by reducing water density. Others point to magnetic anomalies that interfere with navigation instruments. But even these explanations struggle to account for the sheer number of reports, or the eerie calmness that often preceded each event. Then came another theory, more controversial, more thrilling, that deep beneath the ocean there might lie remnants of Atlantis, an ancient civilization with technology beyond our understanding. Writers in the mid-20th century, like Charles Berlitz, popularized this idea, suggesting that the Bermuda Triangle could be the site of powerful energy fields or leftover machines still operating under the waves. To skeptics, it was fantasy. To believers, it was proof that the past still whispered to us through the sea. Even today, modern sonar scans reveal strange underwater structures near the Bahamas, rectangular formations, long corridors, and massive stone shapes that resemble roads. Coincidence? Or something humanity has forgotten? One thing is certain. The Bermuda Triangle sits on a crossroads of myth and science, where folklore, physics, and fear collide. No one agrees on what's really happening there, but no one can deny the mystery either. Because every time a ship passes through, or a plane crosses overhead, a small question lingers in the back of every traveler's mind. What if this is the one that doesn't come back? The Bermuda Triangle has drawn some of the greatest minds and the most creative imaginations in the quest to explain its secrets. For decades, experts have sifted through flight logs, naval records, weather archives, and satellite imagery. Yet even with modern technology, the truth remains slippery, as if the ocean itself resists being fully understood. Let's start with the scientific theories, those that attempt to bring reason into a place ruled by mystery. One of the most popular explanations is magnetic variation, an area where the Earth's magnetic north and true north line up perfectly. Pilots relying on compasses could unknowingly drift off course, especially in the early days of navigation. Small errors could compound over miles, sending ships and planes far from their intended path. But even that doesn't explain the disappearances that happened under calm, clear skies, or why no wreckage was ever recovered in many cases. Then there's the theory of rogue waves, massive, unpredictable walls of water that rise out of nowhere, capable of swallowing ships whole. Satellite data has confirmed that rogue waves can reach up to 100 feet in height, forming when multiple ocean currents collide. The Bermuda Triangle sits exactly where the Gulf Stream meets deep Atlantic currents, creating a perfect storm for these deadly surges. It's a powerful explanation, but still, some vanishings happened in perfect weather, in shallow waters, or involved aircraft miles above the sea. That's when things begin to drift into the unknown. Some researchers have turned to methane hydrate eruptions, massive gas bursts from the ocean floor. When methane is released, it can turn seawater into a frothy, low-density mix, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink almost instantly. Pilots flying above could encounter pockets of the gas, disrupting engines or sensors, causing stalls or instrument failure. It's a chilling possibility that nature itself might be behind the Bermuda Triangle's curse. Yet there are stories that push beyond science. Stories of compasses spinning wildly, of electronic systems shorting out, of time itself behaving strangely. One account from a private pilot, Bruce Jernan, stands as one of the most intriguing modern experiences. In 1970, Jernan was flying from the Bahamas to Florida in a small aircraft with 2 passengers. The flight should have taken about 75 minutes. The weather was clear, everything routine. Then, as they climbed to cruising altitude, they saw something ahead. A strange, circular cloud forming rapidly in front of them. It wasn't a thunderstorm, but a tunnel, a spinning vortex of gray mist. Before Jernan could turn back, the plane was drawn in. He described flashes of light, like lightning, but silent. The plane's instruments began to fail. The compass spun. The altimeter fluctuated wildly. And then, silence. When they emerged, Jernan realized something extraordinary. They were over Miami, far ahead of schedule. The trip had taken less than 50 minutes. According to radar, his plane had vanished from screens for nearly 10 minutes. Where had they been? To this day, Jernan insists he experienced what he calls a time storm, a brief distortion in space-time that propelled his aircraft forward. Physicists are skeptical, but the story remains one of the most compelling eyewitness accounts linked to the triangle. And if true, it suggests something profound, that the Bermuda Triangle may be more than a place of tragedy. It might be a gateway, where natural forces twist and overlap in ways we don't yet understand. Still, despite stories like Jernan's, the U.S. Coast Guard maintains a firm stance. There is no evidence of supernatural phenomena in the Bermuda Triangle. They point to human error, unpredictable weather, and powerful ocean currents. To them, the mystery is a mirage, built on myth, not fact. But then again, the ocean doesn't care about our explanations, and it's still claiming victims. There's a saying among sailors, the sea never gives back what it takes. And nowhere does that feel truer than within the Bermuda Triangle. Over the years, hundreds of families have waited for answers that never came. Each disappearance leaves behind more than just wreckage. It leaves a vacuum, a silence that echoes across generations. One of the eeriest stories involves the Star Tiger, a British passenger plane that disappeared in January 1948 while flying from the Azores to Bermuda. It was a routine flight, 31 people aboard, including military officers and civilians. Weather reports were good. The pilot sent regular radio messages confirming their position. Then, within an hour of their scheduled landing, the Star Tiger vanished. Search teams found nothing. No debris, no oil slick, no trace of human life. The official report concluded simply, the loss of the aircraft is inexplicable. Just a year later, another aircraft, the Star Ariel, vanished along nearly the same route, under nearly identical conditions. 2 planes, 2 years, same region, same mystery. Coincidence or something else? Stories like these built the foundation of what we now call the Devil's Triangle. And yet, behind every legend, there are the voices of those who survived. Take Don Henry, a yachtsman who crossed the Triangle in 1986. His logbook describes a sudden, unnatural fog rolling in, dense, silent, and luminous. His compass went haywire, electronics flickered, and for 15 minutes the horizon vanished. When the fog cleared, he found himself 30 miles off course with no explanation for how. Or the crew of the Silver Queen, a private plane that reported everything looks wrong moments before radio contact was lost. Their last message was chillingly similar to Flight 19's decades earlier. The pattern seems impossible to ignore. Ordinary people, ordinary voyages, until something shifts. A distortion, a pull, a disappearance. Even modern technology hasn't silenced the mystery. Today, the Triangle remains one of the world's busiest travel routes, crisscrossed daily by cargo ships, cruise liners, and passenger jets. And while incidents have become rarer thanks to improved navigation and weather tracking, unexplained anomalies still occur. In 2015, the El Faro, a 790-foot cargo ship, vanished near the triangle's edge during Hurricane Joaquin. Unlike older disappearances, the wreck was eventually found, 15,000 feet below the surface. But even so, questions lingered. Why had the ship's systems failed so catastrophically so quickly? The sea had claimed another chapter. And that's the thing about the Bermuda Triangle. It's never just one story. It's an accumulation of whispers, echoes, and absences. Each one adds to a legacy that refuses to fade. Scientists, skeptics, believers, all still drawn to this stretch of water that sits at the edge of reason. Why do we keep coming back to it? Maybe because the triangle isn't just a place. It's an idea, the living embodiment of the unknown. A reminder that, for all our satellites and sonar, for all our science and data, the world still holds places that can make us feel small, fragile, and full of wonder. As night falls over the Atlantic, the waves shimmer like black glass. The stars above reflect in the water below. And somewhere out there, maybe right now, a compass needle trembles. A radio signal crackles into static, and a pilot looks out his window to see a fog that wasn't there a moment ago. If you were in his seat, would you turn back? Or would you keep flying forward into the unknown? For decades, scientists have tried to push back against the fog of myth that surrounds the Bermuda Triangle. To them, it isn't a place of supernatural danger, but rather a region where nature simply shows its raw, unpredictable power. Meteorologists point to rapid weather shifts shaped by the warm Gulf Stream colliding with cold Atlantic air. This collision can create sudden waterspouts, twisting towers of wind and water that can rise thousands of feet into the air. A ship caught beneath one could capsize in seconds. A small plane could lose lift and spiral down before the pilot has time to react. Then there are microbursts, invisible downdrafts of wind that strike from above, hitting aircraft like an invisible hammer. In the chaos of a tropical sky, even the most experienced pilot can lose control. Oceanographers have mapped the seafloor around the triangle, revealing deep trenches, shifting sands, and underwater ridges that can swallow wreckage whole. If a ship goes down in one of these zones, strong currents can scatter debris for miles, leaving almost no trace for search teams. Add to that the magnetic anomalies, subtle fluctuations in the Earth's field, and you have a recipe for disorientation. Early navigators relying on compasses and crude maps could drift dozens of miles off course before realizing it. In that light, perhaps the triangle isn't cursed. Perhaps it's simply dangerous, a natural labyrinth that punishes even small mistakes. But science doesn't erase the feeling that something deeper might be at work, because for every rational explanation, there's a detail that doesn't fit. Why do radio signals vanish so cleanly? Why are wrecks sometimes discovered with all instruments intact, but no sign of distress calls? Why do experienced pilots report visual phenomena, glowing clouds, mist, flashes of light, that defy standard meteorology? Skeptics shrug and call it coincidence. But to many, it's the very persistence of the mystery that gives the Bermuda Triangle its pull. Because maybe, just maybe, science and mystery aren't enemies here. Maybe they're two halves of the same ocean, endlessly circling each other. And while scientists chart the water, others look to the sky, to theories that border on the impossible. Some propose electromagnetic vortices, spinning energy fields that disrupt technology. Others speak of dimensional rifts, gateways between worlds, hidden beneath the waves. Even physicists have entertained the idea, not of magic, but of anomalies in space-time. If gravitational or magnetic fields interact in rare ways, they could create localized distortions, temporary warps in navigation systems, or even time perception itself. Is that what Bruce Jernan flew through? Was Flight 19 lost not in the ocean, but in something else entirely, a place between coordinates? We may never know, because the ocean guards its secrets, and time erases the evidence. Still, the deeper humans look, the more the triangle seems to whisper back. In 2020, a team of Norwegian scientists studying the Barents Sea discovered methane craters, massive holes on the seafloor caused by sudden gas eruptions. The conditions there are almost identical to those found beneath the Bermuda Triangle. If such explosions occur, they could instantly destabilize ships and create strange phenomena at the surface. It's a clue that links nature and mystery, an answer that doesn't destroy the legend, but deepens it. Because even if the cause is natural, it's still terrifying. The ocean doesn't need ghosts to take lives. It just needs one breath of methane, one freak wave, one burst of wind. But then again, that's the same ocean that covers 2/3 of our planet, and we've explored less than 5% of it. Maybe the real mystery isn't the triangle. Maybe it's the ocean itself. Today, the Bermuda Triangle has become more than a place. It's an idea woven into the fabric of modern mythology. From books and documentaries to movies and online theories, it sits alongside Atlantis, Area 51, and the Loch Ness Monster as one of the great enigmas of human imagination. And yet, it's also real, a stretch of water between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico that remains as unpredictable as ever. It's estimated that more than 1,000 people have vanished within its boundaries since records began. Ships lost, planes gone, lives unaccounted for. Every few years, another story surfaces. A missing yacht found adrift, engine running, no crew aboard. A pilot who reports his instruments failing before cutting out mid-sentence. A beacon picked up for just a few seconds, and then silence. Each time, the legend grows. And yet, despite its fearsome reputation, millions of travelers cross the triangle every year. Cruise ships, airliners, cargo freighters. The skies and waters hum with life, and for nearly all of them, nothing unusual happens. So maybe that's what makes it so haunting. The mystery doesn't strike often, but when it does, it leaves a scar deep enough to last a lifetime. In a way, the Bermuda Triangle has become a mirror, reflecting our oldest human instinct, the need to find meaning in the unknown, to explain what frightens us, to fill silence with story. When people hear the words Bermuda Triangle, they think of danger, but also wonder. And that wonder has kept explorers, scientists, and storytellers returning for nearly a century. Even the skeptics can't look away, because deep down, every person who studies it must confront one truth. We still don't know everything. The Bermuda Triangle reminds us that mystery still exists, even in an age of GPS, satellites, and real-time data. It's a reminder that some corners of our world refuse to be mapped, and maybe that's a good thing, because without mystery there would be no exploration, no courage, no imagination. Think about it. Centuries ago, the ocean itself was the great unknown. Sailors believed the horizon was the edge of the world, that monsters waited beneath the waves. Today, we know better, and yet the same fear stirs when we talk about the triangle. That's the paradox. Knowledge expands, but mystery endures. And so, the legend continues. People still whisper about portals and disappearances, about ghost ships and vanishing time. They still glance at maps and trace that stretch of ocean with their finger, wondering what really lies beneath. As the sun sets over the Atlantic, the waters turn black and gold, and the stars begin to pierce the sky. It's easy to imagine the triangle breathing, calm one moment, turbulent the next. And somewhere out there, beneath miles of dark water, lie the answers we may never find. Maybe Flight 19 rests on the ocean floor, still intact, its crew forever frozen in time. Maybe those ships drifted into a current that loops them endlessly through the deep. Or maybe, just maybe, they slipped into a place that doesn't play by our rules. We might never know. But as long as humanity seeks the edge of understanding, the Bermuda Triangle will remain, a symbol of our fascination with the unexplained. And if you listen closely, on a calm night, when the waves are still, you can almost hear it whisper back, "Come closer and see for yourself." If you've stayed with us through this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries, thank you. What do you believe? Is the Bermuda Triangle just another myth? Or is there something real beneath those endless waves? Tell us in the comments below. And if you love exploring the strange, the hidden, and the unexplained, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here on Mystery Fact File, we'll keep uncovering the stories that the world still can't explain. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, some mysteries were never meant to be solved.